Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Yeah, I've got some time to myself to do this video live, and this is a live discussion, as you see there on the title. And I want to talk about some of the questionable booking decisions that WWE has made. I mean, a lot of people have brought into question, especially over the past 48 hours, some of the decisions that WWE has made. Most recently, tonight being one of them. Um, Yeah, WWE has had a history of doing questionable decisions, questionable booking. It's almost like they don't know exactly how to make one decision to go in one direction and stick with it. Um, last night when they had Cass turn heel, and I did a live video on that, but when they made the decision to turn Cass heel, a lot of people surprisingly were okay with it, but there also were a lot of people that were not okay with it. The Schleg Daddy being one of them. Excuse me. He didn't like the idea whatsoever because of of the fact that you had such a good thing in his mind with Enzo and Cass as a team, as a unit. Why would you decide to break them up? And I can only assume that they did everything they could with Enzo and Cass, and they just decided, you know what, let's see what happens if we go the singles route. And let's not forget, pretty much we knew this was going to probably happen um, as late as last year, or as midway, or as late as late or early as midway through last year. We pretty much knew this was going to occur. Why was that? Well, quite frankly, because when Enzo went down with an injury, what did they do with Big Cass? They decided to push him into the main event. What did they decide to do when who did they decide to add into that fatal four-way match, earning who did they book to earn his way into that fatal four-way match back around late August, early September for the vacated Universal Championship? Who was one of the guys? Big Cass. The reason being is because, like I said in the live video I did earlier, I think a lot of people look at Big Cass as being this generation's Diesel, this generation's Kevin Nash, this generation's Big Daddy Cool. Thus, the reason for the booking decision as it went last night to break Enzo and Big Cass up. I mean, again, true, not a lot of people are going to appreciate Enzo and Cass being broken up because they had such a unique gimmick. But I think anybody might agree that the writing was on the wall, especially when you didn't have them be brought up at the same time as Carmella. Everybody in NXT was always so used to Carmella being with them, and now you don't have that. And now you have two-thirds of that trio in NXT as heels. So when you go and make that questionable, when you make that decision to finally just break them up, and you do it in the main event segment, it's like I said earlier, it almost sounds like they got some big things planned for both of them. But what that could be is up to them. But uh, you know, it's understandable. Not a lot of people would be in favor of Cass and Enzo breaking up because this was a very fun tag team. You don't have the New Day anymore on Raw, so why would you take away probably the second most entertaining team that they had? You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, you have the Hardys. Yeah, you have the Hardys, but you who else do you have besides them? Besides Sheamus and Cesaro, or Cesaro, or Shemeto, or whatever they call themselves. Besides Rhino and Heath Slater, uh, besides the club, the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, and whoever else they can get, the Revival. Who else do you got that could be charismatic and entertaining as a tag team besides the Hardys? You don't have anybody. What you have, all you had was Enzo and Cass. So it's understandable a lot of people will be questioning the booking decision to split them up. But the reason the booking decision could be questionable, the way I see it, is right now WWE is desperate for some big men. They're desperate for some faces that they can associate with Monday Night Raw and with the company as a whole. And maybe in the eyes of Vince McMahon, Big Cass feels that role. But you speak about the booking decisions being questionable, or we speak about them being questionable. That leads me into another thing I want to discuss. Word has been going around over the past couple of weeks that Vince and Triple H have been butting heads behind the scenes. And it's understandable because, again, it has to do with booking. It does. And what I mean is, apparently, according to reports, Triple H is not too pleased with Vince and the way he's been booking the NXT alumni, some of the NXT alumni that's been coming up to the main roster, whether it's Raw or SmackDown. So there's a budding of personal differences uh, between the two over the, like I said, over the booking decisions of the NXT stars on the main roster, and Triple H ain't too pleased with this. This is why I think a lot of men and women in NXT have yet to get that call up, despite the fact that they have done practically what they could in NXT. They have yet to get that call up because I think Triple H is afraid that Vince is going to screw them over as well. And that's understand. And that's an understandable point from Hunter's perspective. You know, why would, I mean, put yourself in Triple H's shoes, Paul Levesque's shoes. Why would you want to send someone that's obviously ready to go to the main roster, knowing with a few exceptions, and that being very few, they could get screwed over? You wouldn't want to chance it. You wouldn't want to do it. You want to say, let's wait, let's see what happens, go from there. Um, so yeah, the questionable booking the WWE makes has even gone as far as, like I said, to kind of cause a rift between Triple H and Vince behind the scenes because of the way the NXT alumni are booked. But then you take a look recently as of tonight on SmackDown Live as hashtag SD Live. I listened to what Deluxe Man had to say, and if Deluxe Man is watching this, please respond. In the eyes of many people, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to do a Money in the Bank ladder rematch, especially the women's Money in the Bank ladder rematch, when pretty much there's no sense in doing it? Carmella's already pointed out, JBL's pointed out, and even Daniel Bryan's pointed out that there are no disqualifications in a ladder match. Even Daniel Bryan said there's nothing against somebody trying to help you if you're the first one to unhook the briefcase. Excuse me there. If, like I say, you're the first one to unhook the briefcase, which none of the women did. It was Ellsworth. Yeah, Carmella got in possession of it when she caught it, but she didn't officially take it down. And, a lot of people could say that the booking decision for this was done because WWE came under fire for basically being chauvinistic, basically saying, oh, yeah, we played up, or misogynistic, whatever it's called, being like, oh, yeah, well, we played up and hyped up the historicness of this match and everything. And, oh, by the way, the finish is going to have James Ellsworth take the briefcase down and steal one of the girls. Yeah, that's not going to backfire in your face now, is it? The point is, James, the point is, WWE made a booking decision, whether you liked it or you didn't, that became so questionable that it got the backlash of everybody on the inside of the business, every fan, to the point that WWE had to say, you know what? Let's just take the briefcase away from Carmella, have her compete for it again, and go from there. I mean, I even suggested that when I talked about the Women's in the Bank controversy yesterday. I suggested if they're going to do a rematch, which they're doing, that Carmella should win it, and she should do it in a way that makes it that that basically showcases that how she's doing it is fair and just, but basically to have her do something to what similar to what Corbin did. You could have two of the other women out of the five up on the top towards the end of the match. You can have Carmella come in, tip the ladder over, and as quickly as she can, climb up it, grab the briefcase, and win the match. She once again becomes Miss Money in the Bank, but this time she does it fairly. So, again, I can understand why people are questionable about this, but it's questionable due to the fact that I don't think WWE kind of thought it through of how the reaction it was going to get. Because you take a look at the significance and the historicness of that matchup, it's like, why of all people does James Ellsworth, a guy, a man, be the one that gets the briefcase and just literally says, "Here, Carmella, here you go, whee!" You know, why is he the one that unhooks the briefcase? Why couldn't he do the smart thing in the eyes maybe of people that judge this decision, put her on his shoulders, climb up the ladder, and have her reach up, kind of hold her hands up, thus kind of waking her up and making her realize, hey, look, you're right next to it. Sorry, my thumb hit the mic there, but hey, you're right next to it, and have her unhook it, and he's not doing anything. He's just helping her, get up the ladder. I think if they would have done it that route, if they would have booked it that route, it'd be less controversial, and we wouldn't have to worry about a rematch. But we're going to get one. And, you could say, like the Lex Man, it's due to the fact that SmackDown Live got a low rating last week. And that's probably true. They probably did get a low rating. But whether or not that's the case, hey, whether or not that's the case, apparently WWE, like I said, when they booked the finish to that match on Sunday, made it a very questionable booking decision because they didn't think through the whole backlash that they were going to get from the fans and the insiders. Overall, WWE, like I said, has made a lot of questionable booking decisions we may or may not agree with. You know, but it's like, what are you going to do? I mean, as far as well-known YouTube wrestling personas, you have Deluxe Man upset at the booking at WWE booking a women's ladder in the back a women's Money in the Bank ladder rematch. You have them upset at the fact that the Hype Bros have to go against the tag champs to get a shot, even though that I do agree with this, they rightfully got a shot already. So they shouldn't have to worry about that. And then on Schleg Daddy's side, you have him basically not happy at the fact that Enzo and Cass, probably the one and only entertaining thing you have on Raw, was broken up so soon and so quickly. And again, if you want to focus this all in on one aspect of how bad the booking is, and you want to tie it all together, again, like I said, there's been reports that Triple H and Vince have been butting heads. Not physically, but like, agreeing and disagreeing of how this should be done, who should be going over, da da da. So overall, it's like, unless something gets straightened out there behind the scenes, you're going to get questionable booking. Are you going to get creative writing on both ends if they do the best they can? Absolutely. Are you going to get the right calls being made, the right decision, the right booking being done? Absolutely. Are you going to get screwed up booking, the wrong booking being done? Absolutely. But are you still overall going to get questionable booking? Well, yeah, you're going to. But, I think what WWE is doing is they're trying to be like more on the fly. They're trying to be like, well, if we book it this way, fans are going to expect it. But if we go this way, they won't expect it. Maybe we'll get some backlash too. Maybe we get some interaction. That's basically what it is. It's more like trying to get attention on the product by doing something that the fans will tune in and say like, okay, let's see what you guys are going to do to screw up what you did the previous night. even further. What are you going to do? So overall, as far as like I said, overall, it's like it doesn't matter how you look at it. You know, you're always going to get questionable booking, whether you agree with it or you don't. Some may like the booking and decision to give Miz an entourage group in the form of himself, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel. Some may like it, some may not. You know, some may like the fact that we got sort of what Jeff suggested they do with Brock and Samoa Joe last week on Raw, but now we don't get any follow up of it with Lesnar the following week. So that's questionable booking, if not bad booking. There, how do you follow that up? You need to have some solid booking to follow it up with. Um, the point is, folks, the point is, it doesn't matter how you look at it. It doesn't matter whether you want to hashtag make wrestling fun again and or not. The point is, you're always going to get questionable decision making. You're going to get questionable booking. No matter how you look at it, you're going to get questionable booking. You're going to get questionable decision making. That's about it. That's really about it. So um, that's really all I could say. I mean, like I said, WWE is always going to be known for its questionable booking, but I don't think it's going to end. Really, unless they kind of sit down and behind the scenes and be like, okay, what can we do to really get people on our side? Because that's what they need to do. They need to get people on their side, and they need to start making straightforward booking decisions instead of questionable ones. They need to start realizing, okay, we're going to book it like this and go from there, no matter what. That's what they need to do. Whether the decision is a good one or it's a bad one, that's what they need to do. So overall, though, that's why I think, in my opinion, WWE. Now, what I'm trying to say is that to me, in my opinion, is why WWE has always been known lately for its questionable decision making because you know you don't know what direction they're going to go in. You think they're going to go in one direction, but then they go in another. And I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how it's going to be done, but we'll just have to wait and see. See what they do building towards Great Balls of Fire. See how they book that, whether it's questionable or straightforward. And the same with SmackDown building towards Battleground. Whether it's straightforward or not, we'll have to give it time between there. Is it because these two pay-per-views that they're doing are the last pay-per-views before SummerSlam, so you want to see how they're going to deliver, and whether or not the booking that's done for this event is going to be a positive or a negative or questionable. So overall, that's just my thoughts on it. That's just my thoughts, and I thought I'd share them with you guys here live, and hopefully you all watched. I'm sorry if I'm kind of tired a little bit. I worked today. I did some carts in the hot sun, so um, but yeah, I just started to give my thoughts on the questionable booking WWE does here live, and let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I'm out.